Yo, yep. Alright, let me just set up. Let me just put on something good. Alright, there we go. So, good job on winning like a shit ton of maps. Good shit. I'm just gonna watch it roll out right now. Movement's not bad so far.
Nice chain, red bone mains, chain swing, like pretty things. Kick a bitch, call me Luke Kane. Dumb bitch, give me dumb brain.
I'll just put on the same playlist I did for Dango. Okay. So where's my pen? Here you go. Okay. Let me just reset. So I don't hate taking this route. It's actually pretty good, you know. Sometimes it could be hard, like walking this way, taking poke. So I like this. I like this routing. It's not bad. Okay, so your team is really split right now. That's kind of what this comp likes. Like, it likes it when you're split. And by your Reinhardt pushing up right here and then moving back to point, it's kind of pointless, right? Because when the Reinhardt is on point, there's like a shit ton of angles that can look from him, right? But what I'd much rather you do is, as a team, push this way. Like, just commit to taking this route right here, right? And then taking this control from them, right? So once you push, you take this area, right? You leave like your Kree or Cassidy, whatever you want to call him, like right here in this area, right? Because as 6-man, you push the D.Va, right? The D.Va is pretty split from the team, right? Unless you kill the ball, then that's fine. Okay, you kill the ball. But I still don't like you turning around, and then some people, like your D.Va's right here, your Reinhardt was right here, and then like 2 to 3 of you right here, while your Kree is right here. Like, let me just show this, but like, as like a comp of rush, you don't really want to be split like this. Sometimes, like, splitting is fine if when rushing, right? Each character wants their own position, but you're not really playing together split, right? You're playing it kind of individually. Like, if you look at the control, like people could easily take the D.Va, right? Or people could easily take the Rhino, or people flankers, like 6 of them could come around, right? So what I'd rather you do, and what a lot of people do, is they'll push this way, right? And they'll just keep going until around here, right? Until they maybe get the Zen, right? Or they force him to go this way, or most likely this way, right? Which then he'll be open in a free kill, right? So as a team, you push this, right? You pressure the D.Va, maybe you kill her, but you take their backline, right? You try to get their backline. Of course, they're gonna go this way, but once they're sitting on point, right? Easy kill, right? Easy kill. Maybe you leave your Kree. There's flankers. I would maybe not, actually. So what I would do is I'd walk his 6. Since there are flankers, I would let your Kree stay alone. But then I'd leave him like on an off angle right here as your team is pushing this way, right? Instead of just kind of staying static right here and just getting picked off from angles like your Ryan does. I mean, you get the ball, which is a good trade. But, whatever. You get the D.Va, you get the... Okay. Kree, okay. So I kind of hate that play, kind of. Unless, I don't know how your aim is, it's not really something I know. But let's say, like, you come down, right? And you walk up to here to try to get a flash fan, right? You're giving this space and you're making it uncontested, right? You're turning this contested area you own, and you're giving it up to anyone, right? Maybe the ball comes over here, right? by crossing mid, or like the point, right? Like, you know, you could die here crossing it, right? I would not recommend it. Not crossing open space like that, especially, you know, that's not really why I hate it, but crossing open space is not good. But I'd much like you could just play right here, and this is a powerful off angle, right? Like, maybe even come around here and you take shots at the back line, right? But you can just play this angle and get kills, and then they're sitting right here, and then they're like right here, they're also getting pressured from this area, right? And by flashing you get the kill, but they trade you out. Wait, you actually get two? What the fuck? Oh, you kill, okay. So you kill him and you rotate over. I'd much rather you stay here and try to go for shots, or maybe even come around here, but I wouldn't cross this way. Unless you're like uncomfortable with aim, then, you know, you gotta do stuff. What you gotta do. Okay, so, Lucio, I don't like this, like sitting on point, walking around. I know your movement is kind of bad and you're getting better at it, but you know, what I would do is these pillars are my domain, right? So I'd literally just play around these pillars, right? Like you can just play on these pillars like around here. Like this is a lot of movement, like a lot of mobility, like it goes everywhere around the point. So you don't really need to be on point. So you can be like up here, right? And then you can maybe jump down, kill the diva, but watch out for the brig, because you're just like in the brig's face, kind of like, you know, taking damage, you know, like shield bash, whatever. And I know the fight was kind of over, you know. Like, so when the fight is over, you need to set up for the next fight, right? I know people are dead, people are walking back, whatever. But when you win a fight, you need to set up and take important spots on the map. And by sitting right here, you're giving them essentially all of this before the fight even starts, right? I'm probably gonna move up, so more like this, I think. Or maybe even this too. Probably not because of Ryan. I'll just be safe and say this, right? So you need to watch out and make sure to fight for every inch of space you give. So you have speed advantage, right? So you could play right here. Right, your team can set up around Lorraine, who plays right here, with the plan of backing up, because you can do so fast, because you have speed, and they do not, right? Okay, and you do, but a little late. Like, if they wanted to push in, you could. And, you know, if you were ult tracking, you'd know they had no ults, or they had little ults, because they didn't really do much that fight. So, like, instead of playing right here, which is, you know, if you let's say you had a Mercy instead of a Lucio, you know, right here is really fine. But I think you could push it a little bit by pushing up here, right? With the plan to back up through this area, and maybe have a diva on high ground, the BAP right here. Maybe the Cassie is taking this right here. Sombra's probably around here, right? But with the, like, you could play it farther, you know. Even with their comp, who will probably take angles, you just need to be, like, together, kind of. I don't actually hate that. You got value, I guess. Okay. So, Lucio and a little bit of Diva, not really. But your both job is to peel, as well as Kree, but not as much. So, like, Diva and Lucio, you kind of have every job in the game. Like, you need to be ult tracking, target calling, you know, tempo calling, whatever. But on Lucio, you need to be looking to peel, especially when in their comp, when like 2 people were on your BAP. I mean, it should not be your Kree or your whoever's job, Sombra's job, to be on your BAP. You know, like, they have other things to do. Like Sombra, like, you're not really doing much right now. You should be like taking angles, right? Looking to hack and get damage off, and maybe take attention, take pressure. But let's say preferably Lucio first, then Diva second to peel. So Bap maybe, he calls peel, right? Of course, you should not leave your Bap to die, create your Sombra. But it should be your Lucio's job to walk over here and pressure people off. And then your Diva second if it's too much. And then you overextend and you die. Lucio. A little bit unlucky with shot, but you should just be careful, especially if you're low. Sombra may be looking to EMP, I don't really know, but unless you're I don't know what the fuck is happening. Your Sombra may be trolling. Unless you're like making like an honest duel. You know. Oh, he was invisible actually, so I don't actually know. Whatever, but maybe it could have been your ringer, I don't know. But... Okay. So you think he EMPs to get the Sombra? Okay. Don't do that. Okay, and I don't like brawling on point, the rest of the team. Like, point should, like... point should be like hot lava, I think. Like... I think you should think of it as hot lava. Just because you back up onto point, right? When you should be playing right here, right? Because it doesn't matter if they touch point, because they're gonna die if they have all these angles. If your team's playing right here, right? They go to point, what can they really do? Like, you can take every angle on them, right? And Korea, I'd much rather you be playing here, right? And not, like, give it free to the Diva, right? The Diva, like, this is really good for the Diva, especially if they had a Rhine, like, as well as taking angles, right? She's off-angle pressure, right? You don't want to let her have this off-angle, right? You need to hold this. Like, you need to hold the map control. I know, like, a quote was, like, take something that is important to them by some guy on your team. I don't really know, but it should be, like, map control as an important thing to not give, especially to this comp, who needs to stage to dive a little bit. All dive comps, like, need to stage a little bit. And by giving them free map control, it gives them easy access to your backline as free staging, kind of. And ball fights on point, and you punish them, okay. They're just playing the comp wrong. It's whatever. Yeah, because Reinhardt, I see you, like, you're looking this way, right? But then you get hacked and you're turning this way. And then, let's say the Diva's here, you turn this way, right? So if you just play here, you can chill, and then they have to look every which way to shoot at you. Lucio, let me just watch how you die. Be plank on walls, I told you earlier. You know, sit up here, and just take these walls and just stay up here. Don't sit on main. Your feet should never be on the ground, kind of. I know that's not like 100%, but your feet should be relatively not on the ground. Like, why are you sitting low main? Like, just shooting at kind of nothing. Like, you're shooting at tanks. Like, what are you doing? Like, you can't really... And you should not die to that. Your movement should be better. But you should not be dying to that. Like, this should be your target till if you're gonna, like, do damage. Like, you could sit right here when your team is playing, like, and do damage to Zen. Pressure the Zen, right? Your team is on point. Like, you know, the Diva is not really your job, right? Like, you're healing, you're speeding your Rhine, like, if you're playing right here, or even right here, right? And you can punish the Zen for being in this horrible position, kind of. If, like, the Zen was playing here when you're fighting, you know, whatever. And, you know, die or get out, whatever. I don't hate Lamp for that, actually, but you have to make sure that no one can follow up since he's low, which you do, nice. So yeah, your team loves to play super split. The team fight's over. Not really a big problem here, you know. Like, the back line wants to be in the back, the front line wants to be in the front. But you could, like, position a little better about it, right? I don't actually hate this though. You played it fine. Like how you're positioned as a team. The main problem was brawling in this area, which should be the place you go to die and should not be your priority. If you have point, right? Even if you didn't have point, like you want to take the map control, you want to take this, you want to take this, you want to take this, and win the fight before you take that. I don't know why I said fight, what the fuck. And I think your Sombra's waiting for the pack. I don't actually. That's kind of like, whatever. But if I was the Sombra, I'd be looking to get more value instead of sitting here and guarding this one spot. Although it is important, you could be much more important by flanking, and waiting to like fall up on your team. What the I accidentally clicked the button. Like, you're brawling on point, which is such an even fight. I don't know why you're doing it. You have 99, they have 0. You can give them point, maybe for a second, to just secure these angles. And let's say when they're playing, when they are, let me turn the music down. Okay, so when you're playing right here, they're sitting right here. Like, they're on point. They need to touch. You do not need to touch. You can take these angles around here just to shoot at them. You don't need to brawl on the point with a team. I mean, actually, their comp doesn't really like to brawl. So if you're brawling with a team comp that doesn't want to brawl, you'll probably win this. Like, if you... And your Ryan just whiffed 2 swings. I don't know how that's even possible. But if you lose this fight, it's because you brawled on point. So I don't hate brawling, but on point. But you secure these angles, right? You look for someone who's split. Maybe the Zenyatta is split from the team right here, and then you push on the Zen as a team, right? Like, I think it's like a misconception that brawl or like rush needs the 6-man rush. Like, you can rush a target from multiple angles, right? And sometimes you like to do that. Maybe not like this many angles, right? But maybe like if your team is here, and like here, you all jump on the Zen, right? Of course, you don't want to give them this area, which they might push out of, but they need to be on point. But they don't need one to be on point. But they have a think that like they touch point, they have to be on it, like everyone has to be on it. That's not true. You only need like one, maybe the Diva or the ball sits on point. Well, like the rest of the team does work. Right. That was good, actually. I think you played that fairly well. They just couldn't really do anything because of their team comp, I think. Yeah, but with this, they're gonna want to take it slow, and by rushing to point, that gives them a lot of... Let me just go. So let's say your team goes to point right here. Okay. And then you have this. But then they have all of this, and all of this, and all of this, so they can stage easily for a dive, right? And your backline will probably be with you guys, right? Normally they don't want to do that. They don't want to sit on you as BAP. They want to be close, but they don't want to sit on you. Which then lets them stage before, like gives them free staging, which dive needs to stage, especially this comp, right? And they can just easily go on. They might swap to an Ana if they're going to run traditional dive, unless they're running a 6-man. I don't play much 6-man, but yeah, okay, there we go. But I'm going to predict you either walk here, they take all these stagings, and then they push you and you kill them, because they're bad. Or what happens is you take this, right? And then they come in, you kill them, right? Yeah, it's probably what happens. Like, you take the point, right? They stage. They either stage or don't stage properly and still lose the fight no matter what because they're bad, and you push this and you play here. Which I don't hate, but you need to make sure they don't let them stage, right? What you can do, actually, is... I'm talking before the fighting starts. but you take this area, right? And then you walk all the way around here and take this high ground, right? So what Ryan could do is, you know, actually maybe not that, but you know, you could do, you play this corner, right? You push up and you play this corner, and then Diva plus like Bap and Lucio try to secure this high ground, which doesn't let them stage, right? You take the fight and then you go to point, or you could have like a Sombra get point, you know. Just like like you don't really want to let them stage for the dive, because it can be hard, because they don't really want to get up into your face, right? They don't want to brawl, they want to keep the distance until they're staged to then dive in, right? And peel is definitely important for you, and you, like the entire team, right? But you need to be looking to peel, right? There we go, I called it. And then they don't stage properly, right? They do stage properly. I thought they jumped onto point. But this is like pretty tough. I don't actually hate this play, like going here, right? They have to come to, I don't actually hate it right here. This is actually fine, because then they have to come to you, right? So I think this play was also fairly fine, I'm not gonna lie. But so like it makes them come to you, but there's a lot of angles that you have to be accounted for, which makes it easy for the DPS to follow up on you. So let's say like the monkey jumps in right here, right? Realistically, everyone will be looking. Like even if I tell you not to be looking for flanks, you will be, which makes it easy for the tracer to come around, or the echo to come around, or an Ononade to come and pick someone off, right? I don't actually hate this play, but it's just something you have to be careful of. You just have to play together 6 and watch flankers. And then they probably just brawl. Yeah, they're playing like brawl right here, so you probably won this. Realistically, the nade right here is the trigger for this and this and this, right? The nade would be the trigger, right, for the dive. So you just have to be careful of that. Like they're looking for an advantage, right? And they do not care if you get 30 ticks. If they win the fight, right? They don't really care. Like they can give time. Let me swap my music. Here you go. Yeah, and especially playing like this, like you should be with your Ryan sim. You're kind of like a Mei on how you want to play, right? And then these people could pick you off easily because you're split from your team. Especially in dive, you want to be together. Not you do, but your entire team doesn't want to clump together. Cause you know, if you're playing whatever. So that's right, but so like if your team is playing clump together, just like right here, and then their team can set up and then go onto your backline just by pushing your front line, right? That's why I don't like you playing together, right? Because if you're playing like this, it's easy to surround you, right? Or even if they jump from here, this is your backline as well if you're clumped together. But let's say you play like this, and then like this, with like this, it can be hard to get the backline, right? They have to actually stage to get the backline, right? With this comp though, it's not as big of a deal, right? You know. Yeah, but see how he just needs to jump in? Baptiste, what I'd much think you could do, right, is you sit right here, right, and then you can just jump out, right? You can do that, right? You play right here. You can do damage. You can jump back in. you can get out, right? But this is very important that everyone peels for the bat. Like, Lucio, I think. Diva, you do a good job, but Lucio, you also need to be doing that. And then when the nade comes in, when they're diving, that's very dangerous. They kind of gave too many ticks before committing, though. And then they just kind of troll because they had no follow-up from DPS. But, you know, let's say if the DPS actually did their job, they kill more than 0 of you, I'll be honest. It's kind of weird. I'm tired, holy shit. It's only like 10, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know why you're playing right here, right? Like, you can take, like, you don't need to be on point, so that gives them the space, right? So I'd much rather you play right here and right here, and you can walk the point to cut them off, but you don't want to give them literally all of this for free. I know you have a Sombra here, but you need to be conscious about how much space you're giving them and where you are playing, right? Like, this is not a big deal, right? Because they are bad, right? But any team who stages better and dives better will kill you, because you're just sitting here in this clumped up area, right? This area is kind of like baiting their aggro, right? This corner, right? And they kind of got baited, you know? But I'd much rather you not give them all this control of the map before the fight even starts. Unless the play was the EMP. Unless the play was EMP, you want to get them close, and then you just follow them. If that was the play, good. If that was not the play, bad. Okay. I think that was the play if he was positioning there. I don't actually hate that then. But just for future reference, if you don't have this, you take space. Because when the fight is over, you need to take important spots of the map, and you're not doing that. What you could even do, right, is play right here, and then he EMPs, and then you rush right here, you know, because like you're giving them all this space. They kind of rush horribly and play horribly, but you know, they get you. I don't see how bad that is. Like, Bap does not want to play here. He shouldn't want to play here. Like, there's no angle for him to take damage, and he's kind of just stuck here. Unlucky you get pulse bomb. Maybe. Did you have lamp? You lamp this, actually. I don't know why you didn't lamp it. There's no reason not to. I don't think you could have walked away from it. Maybe reaction time. But when I see that below my feet, immediately pop lamp, and then I shift once it goes off. So you don't die here. I don't hate the beat, you're down main support. I'm just actually watch how you play the beat. But Reinhardt, this is more of your call to take more space. Like, you see how you're like bunched up in here? I know they lose because EMP, right? But you see how bunched up you are, right? And how many angles they can take on you? Let's say I took this angle. Like, literally nothing is stopping me from getting 2 kills. Or 3 kills, right? And carrying the fight. This is Reinhardt, this is more of your call. Lucio, this is more of your call. But, you know, someone else can call it as well. Because this is putting your team in not a great spot, right? Sim, I don't like that well. Maybe hit it right here, right? Then it splits their team, so you can rush them. So rush, like, you never actually rush as a team, I don't know why, but I mean, I don't know if that's true. I'm just talking on my ass, but you wall here, right? It separates these two from the rest of the team, and then you rush them, right? Maybe more concise, like, you wall, Lucio screams amping speed on Ryan, and then you'll rush him and you'll kill him. Like, what is... This really does nothing. It doesn't give you extra value, but it just keeps you safe. But you can also get, you know, like you get killed from here, right? In all these angles that the wall doesn't account for. I'm gonna watch this beat though, actually. I kinda wanna. Your movement, please be on walls. Like, I'm telling you, like multiple times, just sit on the walls. Come on, man. Like, be on these walls. The walls are your domain. And what you can also do is you amp speed, like when the team is pushing in. The fuck? Like, you can amp speed, right? You do the little boot play, right? You can go for a boot play. If you have better movement, you can be on these walls. Or you can also boop them into the team, but the boot play is a free kill. Right? Like, you look for the boop on the Mei here. And she doesn't. Yeah, there you go, you get it, okay. Nice. Maybe you don't take that pin, Ryan. You maybe take it right here. Let me just watch it. Keep telling me don't take long pins. Please don't take long pins. Kinda, yeah. I don't actually hate that pin. You know, it's kind of, I think it was tough to maybe hit this wall, right? But, you know, maybe hit this wall, actually, if you can. Maybe the goal is to take him out the fight, but, you know, whatever. And you'll win, okay, I don't really need to talk about that. This will I be talking about. Okay. So I suck at carrying this comp because I've like played it like once or twice, but because I'm a Sigma Chad, I'm a rush enjoyer, average rush enjoyer versus average dive comp enjoyer, cringe. But this is where map control is important. And your soft dives should consist of ball swinging in. And then you committing, right? After, if you wanna, you know, you sit here for an eternity, what the fuck? Yes. I'd like to see good brick play. Like, I'd like to see you getting a lot of value. I'd like to see good Discord orbs with the follow-up to the monkey slam. I'd love to see good fallout from all of you on the monkey. Plus, with the discorded target, they should explode if you do it properly. Aight. Okay. Like, where's Tracer? Oh, Tracer dies, where? Okay, kinda unlucky you got caught out the Sombra. But I don't think you go into contested space to grab pack. Like, if you walked into here, grabbed mini, and walked around, it's chill. But this area is still much well contested. By blinking into it on low HP, that's just a free kill, right? And your team needs to follow up more. Like, you're sitting right here, right? I would discord a squishy, like him, like someone who's getting slammed, right? Him. Right? But your team is not really following up. Let me just open my window. So your team is not like following up like no one is in position to follow up, and that's because you didn't take map control. Like, if they give you all of this, and kind of all of this, you need to take all of that, and then you can, like maybe supports play here, and then you can, like, walk around here, right? And when ball swings in, then slams, then maybe Tracer comes right here, and then Diva comes right here, right? You're, like, clumped up together, I think. I mean, Mercy and Brig, or Brig and Zen, you sit together, but you need to take more of the map control. And you're, like, letting them dive your backline, kinda, because you're not, like, stopping them from getting close. You know, they get punished because they're bad. Like, what is this? Like, you just let the, unless you hit this whip shot, whatever, but, you know. Like, what are you doing? Like, you just let the, you let your Zen die, kinda. Because y'all weren't peeling and looking out for him. Or you did, but it was, like, ultra late. Yeah, because, like, they're not really diving. Like, if they staged properly, right, they played here, and they fought for this, right, you would lose. But instead, they're just walking this way and diving you. Like, they would much be better suited for rush comp, and if they were playing rush, you would have lost, I think. So you want to stage, right, by taking map control, and then going for the dive, right? Going for the soft commits till the full commits. And a lot of times I see the DPS are not, you two aren't coordinated, right? So Ball and Diva, you need to be coordinated, but also tanks and DPS need to be coordinated, right? So maybe Ball swings in this way and slams, right? And then Diva comes in, right? But at that same time, Sombra needs to be looking for hack, Tracer needs to be looking for flank, right? As well as Discord orb. So you need to be all, like, on the same page of when you're playing, right? Instead of just, like, doing it however you feel. I know your main tank doesn't like to talk a lot, but I'd like him to be calling everything, as well as you, Brig. So as Brig, you need to be calling out flanks, right? You call flanks. Not really much as tempo, but you're calling flanks that's your job as Brig. Right? And Ball needs to be calling tempo, like committing to dive. Okay, and they dive horribly. Watch this. Yeah, but by not giving any control and just letting them walk up here to jump, it's easy for the monkey to start the dive. It's fortunate for you guys, right? That their Sombra isn't around here. Oh, they're running 6-man. I didn't actually notice. Okay. I don't actually, I'll just watch. You know, I don't think the monkey called it, right? They were slow to follow up. But let's say the team was synchronized and it ran at you, like, as 6. You would die. Which I clicked buttons I shouldn't have. You would have died. Which one of you does? We're not doing the dive target. Because you transited. Okay. I think different issues, different comps, right? So in this, you need to be playing more split. Not because it's good, but because you need to take each part of the map, right? You need to take in more of the map, right? Because you want to stage, which means you want to be split to skirmish for the map control. I'd have you play right here. Right? If you're gonna let them walk to point like that, like you play right here. This is super hard to get to, especially if the team is playing around here, right? And someone's in this room, right? Like, this is a pretty strong spot, as well as this. In this comp, I don't, like, sometimes, like, I'd like the Tracer be up here while the backline stays here, you know. Like, make sure to secure the like, let me show this. Like, in these 3 lanes, right? You need to try to control these lanes, right? And it can be hard in this comp, because, you know, if there's, like, 2 to 3 people playing here, and then they 6-man rush it, you know, it can be hard, but you have to make them fight for it. and you need to be more overt about staging your dives and getting ready for it, and like cycling and like soft dives, you know, instead of just like how they're playing it, right? They just go from 0 to 100 like instantly, and not like a gradual increase. Like it should be a gradual increase to 100, not because of anything, but because of the fight for map control, right? Because the fight is decided before Winston presses his shift button, you know. And when there is no map control, the fight's already decided because you don't have any map control, and when Winston presses shift, you lose the fight. Yeah, see, look how, like if you played here, you know, they have to come this way, you can see them. But if you're playing here, you know, there's angle here, like all of this, right? So backline, I would not play here, right? Because you see how easy two of them just dived their backline, right? And killed your Zen, right? So I play right here, it's much easier to be accounted for. Just insulate yourself, which means make it hard for the enemies to get to you, and make them actually have to stage to get to you. I know I'm talking a lot about staging. It makes them actually have to, you know, take the parts of the map to dive you instead of just walk main and then get onto you, right? Because like they walk main, they just jump to you. But if you played here, right, you'd have to take this part. They'd have to come through here. They have to like control stuff. They have to actually work for it, right? Like if I was playing with like my team, that'd be such a juicy dive, right? Right? Because you know, the monkey can just come here, like they don't care. Put Tracer, like he gets the easiest flank because he just waits here. You don't know, right? The monkey jumps, he comes in, easiest one clip of his life because the damage from the Diva and the monkey and whatever, or even the Reaper, right? Or Sombra. I mean, I was talking about the comp in traditional dive, but you know, Sombra, he right clicks, right? Takes all this health away from Zen, right? And then he just does this, and when like 4 people are diving him, he's gonna die, right? 5, 6. So you have to be hard to get to. I like going for the kill tracer. Unlucky you couldn't actually get it or whatever. And I think you lose this, maybe. Or maybe if I click on for a little bit. 30, yeah, probably. I think it's probably your comms though that's like making it hard to actually play the game. Cause like your main support doesn't like to talk, your main tank doesn't like to talk, and it's like your DPS calling whatever. I don't actually know the comms for this scrim, but I think it could be comms. It's like, you know, the things that's like really bad. I don't hate this, but Tracer, make sure to be able to follow up. That's what makes Ball Tracer so powerful and such a good duo, right? The ball swings in, like look at this. Look, he's he's like almost half HP. Will be the easiest one clip of your life and an easy pick if they're playing spread already and you follow up on the ball, right? So whenever I'm playing Tracer, I look where my ball is playing, and I look to follow up when he goes in, right? You know, it's a scrim, you can talk about it, right? It's not a comp. So you need to be doing that, right? Instead of just doing random bullshit, right? Like, I don't hate this flank. They're probably not gonna... He walks in, okay, but he doesn't even wraith. But, you know, you could be going for it when your team is also going for it. Alright, you need to coordinate when you're going in together. and they lose. Okay.